Do this if you want 5 to 15 new clients in the next 21 days. I'm about to walk you through a complete, what we call conversion content campaign, giving you exact content templates, messenger outreach scripts, and even examples from us and from some of our clients who have used this exact campaign successfully to, on average, generate anywhere from 5 to 15 new clients. Now, 21 days is a good time frame. Quite frankly, this can happen a lot sooner, or it can be a little bit longer, around 28 to 30 days, like a full month. However, you want to be able to dedicate the time to being able to implement the content, which is going to take about a week. And then you want to be able to compile the leads that you get from this content to be able to book sales calls with them to acquire the clients. So it might take anywhere from 14 to 30 days, but 21 is a good kind of medium to be able to dedicate to this. So I initially did this, where I came up with this campaign that I'm about to walk you through. And by the way, I'm going to have the PDF linked that has the full campaign. All of it, literally exact templates. And again, like I said, outreach scripts and examples and everything that you need to implement this right below this video. So feel free to click. It's ungated. I'm giving this you completely free. You could thank Alex Hormozi. He's really raised the standard on giving goodwill. And so this is my way of just giving goodwill to you to be able to build trust, to be able to earn your trust, and to be able to help you get results in advance, so that if you're ever thinking about working with somebody, or you're interested in being able to build what we help people solve, consistent and sustainable 20 to 50K per month profit online coaching businesses, you'll think of me. So I think that it's important for you to get some context behind this. So we initially first started to use this kind of content campaign, I would say around late 2019, early 2020. And this is when a lot of people started to go online, and it was just getting more and more challenging, right? We were posting content, we were, running kind of more direct promotional campaigns, we were doing outreach, and the market was starting to get very saturated. It's even way more crowded now with content than it was then. So this is even more important today than it was a few years ago. And we still have clients and people running this exact campaign today, getting amazing results. The problem was it was getting harder and harder to reach people. And people were content was becoming more of a commodity, just like it is right now. It's super commoditized. And so we needed a way to be able to, get a bunch of leads into one spot, and then be able to make an offer to those leads privately, through DM conversations, and publicly through content. And so that's where we came up with this. And so when I'm gonna walk you through the overview, and then I'm gonna walk you step by step through how to actually implement this and get success from it. And so we did this first, and we actually generated 11 clients from this series. And it all started with one post. Literally one post generated us over, I want to say, don't quote me here, it's not gonna be exact, but it's around $31,340, I want to say, in revenue. And this is in my online fitness business. And so it's really powerful. It all started with one post, and then we had a couple live videos and things that we did, which I'm going to show you right now. And it went amazingly well. And so we since systematized it, and we've now tested this with our students in over 50 niches within the health and fitness space. And it works incredibly well. So I'm going to be giving this to you as a gift. So let's go ahead, without further ado, and dive on in. Now, this is going to be what we call conversion content campaign number 1. At the time of recording this video, we have 21 of these. Some are going to be more for beginners, just getting started. Some are going to be more for intermediate, people that are already getting some leads and engagement, but they're not converting sales consistently. We have campaigns designed for that. Then we have some campaigns that are designed for people that are advanced. They're already getting clients coming in regularly. Perhaps they're not booking enough calls. We have campaigns that are designed to help people scale. This campaign, though, we've tested with hundreds of coaches at this point in the health and fitness space. This one works whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So that's why I'm giving you this one today. So how we're gonna go through this training today is I'm gonna show you what to do so you can maximize your success. I'm going to show you what not to do so you can minimize your not success. And then I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to walk through some of the content templates and the messenger outreach scripts so you can either swipe and put your own words in, of course, and then implement it into your business, or you can just simply use this to model, to reference, and use for inspiration to kind of come up with your own angle. What I do want to say, this has been proven and tested with hundreds of people, including myself, amongst, probably at least 50 other health and fitness niches at this point. So follow the principles because the principles work. Now, let's go ahead and go for it. So the first thing to understand is, how does this content campaign work? By the way, two things, just as a reminder, like right over here, I have this, so you can kind of click through and throughout this guide as like a quick reference, table of contents. And the link to this is in the description below. So this campaign was created, as I mentioned before, to help coaches get to either their first 5 to 15 high ticket clients or their next. And so whether your goal is having $10,000 a month consistently, $50K per month consistently, $100K per month consistently, or you're more driven to help people, like you want to you're driven to help hundreds to thousands to millions of people, whatever your motive is, something very important that you must have, and that is a proven system. And so that's what we're going to start with right now to give you context to have success here. Now, this is our proven conversion content method. And while I'm not going to walk you through all of this right now, as it'll take forever, what I do want you to understand is like how to fix the inconsistent inbound leads and the unpredictable revenue problems so that you can get leads and clients coming in on a consistent and predictable basis. That's the whole point of this. Now, we're going to be going into number 3 a bit today. I'm going to be showing you how to start to monetize your content, at least what's worked well for myself and for, the hundreds of students that I've helped. But what will make this actually work for you is to have step 1 and 2 down. At least be proficient at it. And here's what I mean. Step 1 is all about your messaging and who you're speaking to. If you don't have a profitable avatar or niche that you're talking to, like if you're trying to serve like broke college kids and you're trying to sell them a high ticket program, I don't know, it might not work, right? So you want to make sure that you have a profitable avatar and niche. It's very foundational. Number 2 is you want to make sure that your offer is positioned well. And with that being said, it comes from your unique messaging. Essentially, the words that you're using in your marketing, and I'm going to go more into this in just a second, and I've done trainings on this, but that's important. Like your messaging is like the 5% that will produce 95% of your sales. So really important to understand that. And then number 2 is I call it the tribe funnel. I just did a recent training on this, but you just want to make sure that you have your profile set up for conversions. Like, you don't want to have like a crappy profile that people click on, they want to click off. You want to have a profile that's set up to be able to like get people interested. And we have some methods of doing that, and I'm happy to share those with you. And you want to make sure you know where to find leads, that you're nurturing your leads, things like that. If you're not doing some of these foundational things, like you're going to be literally like pouring water in a leaky bucket, and it's going to be really hard to grow. It's going to be like fighting an uphill battle. And so just want to be able to paint that. I've done trainings where I've unpacked these a little bit more. So if you want to see those trainings, just let me know and I'll walk you through that. But let's go ahead and get cranking. So the first thing to understand is we're going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to show you how to prepare your campaign. Then I'm going to show you how to launch the campaign. So to prepare the campaign, you got to have a profitable niche. I already mentioned that. I'm not going to go into this right now, but if you are more in the beginner phases, here's a nail your niche guide. Feel free to check this out. It's here in this guide. And you can make sure that you do have a profitable niche. If you've confirmed, like, I do have a profitable niche, then you're going to want to pick a specific message to use for the conversion content campaign. We're about to walk through a tool in a second. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we're going to write the conversion content campaign. So really important. And I want to highlight this because if you don't get this down, like your content's not going to pull that well. It's just not. I don't care if you're using content campaigns like I'm showing you, or if you're doing one-off posts. Your messaging, so in simple terms, your messaging in a nutshell is the words that you use and how you're positioning your offer and your content, right? That's all it is. Think about it like calories to a meal plan. So if somebody's eating healthy food, it's a great start, right? So if somebody's posting awesome information and teaching good advice out there, great job, great first step. But just like if somebody's eating 600 calories or on the other extreme 4,000, it doesn't matter how healthy the food is. It's kind of like they're not going to get their weight loss results, or they're not going to build the muscle that they want, right? So when the calories are dialed in, the foods that they're eating, aka the nutrition plan, starts to work much better. Does that make sense? And so your content works the exact same way. Your marketing in general works the exact same way. When the messaging, aka the words that you're using and the way that you position it is dialed in, or I like to call sharpen because it makes me think of like a sharp knife. It cuts through the noise and it speaks to your ideal client. And when you do that, your content starts to pull. So if your content's not working very well, it's likely because you have either a messaging problem or your content strategy just sucks. Now, I'm going to show you hopefully how to help fix that a little bit right now. So after, and we're going to do this in just a moment. And then once we do that, we're going to launch the campaign. So you're going to post the content. You can feel free to follow the content schedule I give you. You're going to compile your leads. I have a place for you to compile your leads in case you don't have a software to do that. Then you're going to reach out to your leads. Whether you get 5 leads or 500, you're going to reach out to them and book calls and sell. The funny story here, so an average client will typically get like anywhere from 50 to 150 leads from this, depending on their audience, right? We had a woman who she did this exact campaign that I'm giving you, and she generated 891 leads, record by far. Like she's like, 8x what I can do. Like, so I was like, wow. And so jokingly, I was like 500 leads, but we've actually had somebody do 891 leads off this campaign. One of our clients when she did this. So it's crazy. That's definitely a record and not a norm. Okay. So let's go ahead and first start with this tool. So again, we're going to go into like what to do so you understand the concept, and then we're going to break down into like how to do it and like the scripts and stuff like that. So first and foremost, we're not going to really go into this today because it's kind of outside the scope of today's training. We're going to keep this a bit more simple. But when I'm teaching people messaging, we come up with what's called a conversion content matrix. And you just want to make sure you have pillars and sub-pillars. It makes it a lot easier to be able to come up with content and come up with good hooks. But for the sake of this, we're going to keep it really simple. So step number 1 is we're going to come up with a pain or desire, a very specific one that our avatar has. You know what I mean? This is step number 1. And so I have some examples down here. This is from my brand. This is from some of my in-demand coach students' brands that we were just doing a workshop on this. And so for the sake of simplicity, let's say losing belly fat. I want you to come up with your own. Start thinking about one right now. And then if you already have pillars, you know your pillars, do that. If not, don't worry about it. Just like do your best. It could be like meal prep, fasting, dial in calories, whatever it is that you do to help somebody, right? And then you want to come up with a magnet. And I have some different ideas for magnets, right? You can give an ebook, a cheat sheet, a checklist, a grocery list, right? You can give a live training or live series. Spoiler alert, this is what we're going to be doing in this campaign, is a 2-part live series. You could do a crash course or mini challenge. Kind of meta, but this is a crash course. And if you came here because of a social media post, you literally like went through my quote unquote organic funnel here. And now you are watching this crash course, right? You could do a case study. These work very well as well. What we find that works best is when you can attach like a magnet like this to a live training. So this is one of my clients recently did, a live training to help people with belly fat or losing weight when they struggle with time. She covered like meal prep, and then she did a live training going over like how to create a proper grocery list. And it was so powerful. We've had another one that she did a live on macros and using MyFitnessPal, and it worked extremely well. So usually when you attach like a cheat sheet or a checklist and then, go over it on a live and then give people out on a live, it works well. Similar to how I'm doing in this video. It's like I have this whole PDF for you with templates, and I'm kind of I'm doing it on a video versus a live this time, right? And then the hook. The hook is going to be the most important part. You come up with the hook. Once you come up with those, you're just pretty much like taking the pain or desire and the magnet and kind of mixing it together. So it's like, hey, grab my exact stubborn fat loss cheat sheet I used to get this result, right? Now, we're not going to be able to go over like how to, I could do a whole hooks masterclass. Like, let me know if that would be powerful, like hooks and call to actions. It would take way too long, and it'd be a little bit outside of the scope of today's training. But know that you got to have a good hook. And this, my friend, is in part messaging. Like, these are words, and the more on point you can get your words and your hooks and things like that, the more leads and clients you will have over time. So hopefully this makes sense. The next piece that we're going to go into before we dive into the templates is I'm going to show you, and I have this for you. This is a free gift I'm giving you. This is our light version, by the way. Like, we do have like a full in-depth version, but it's for people inside the in-demand coach community only. This one hopefully is still mega valuable for you. It should be. So we have this content calendar where I've literally helped map out, and let me zoom out a little bit. Hopefully you can still see this. I've mapped out the exact campaign that you're going to be running. I've even given you emails that you can use, like email templates that you can use. So the whole shebang, the whole work, really, really cool. And hopefully you find this valuable and you get some leads. Now, what I want to go into, there's some steps that you could take here. You can kind of go through these on your own time. They're pretty self-explanatory. And then there's 4 different content buckets that I want you to understand. Again, I'm not going to go into these buckets too deeply today. I've done trainings on these. But I want you to see like how I've been able to craft these content campaigns so you can be able to do this. So you got influence, connection, authority, and proof. And if you want to see examples of, different influence posts, connection posts, authority posts, and proof posts, linked down here, you're going to see helpful resources for you. You have access to this whole conversion content campaign guide that has a bunch of examples and swipe files. So you're going to be able to have that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in to actually writing the content and posting it. So this is a fast path to paying clients. I saw somebody had a name like that, and I was like, this is actually very true for this. And so it fits the name. So what we're doing here is we are helping you build some engagement. You are going to spark some conversations, book some calls, and sign some clients. Now, it's important to understand this. This is what not to do. Let's start talking about what not to do, and then we'll go into the templates. Pay very close attention to this because I see some very smart, very talented human beings and coaches fall victim to these mistakes time and time again. So right now, I'm speaking to you if you've already been posting content 3 or more times a week. So if you're already out there posting content, maybe you're posting way more, but you're getting little results, I'm speaking to you right now. If you feel like you're on a content hamster wheel and like you're at times chasing leads, I'm speaking to you right now. If you're not getting consistent sales, like some months are good, some weeks are good, some are like terrible, speaking to you right now, okay? If you want to be able to actually get consistent results, right? You're not in this for like the quick buck or quick short-term stuff. You're actually looking to build a consistent 20 to 50K per month business that you're helping a lot of people that's built around your lifestyle. I'm speaking to you right now because it's all about making sure that you're setting up the systems. See, the mistake that a lot of people fall into is what I call commodity content trap. And what this means is that you're posting the same thing everybody else is posting, right? You're teaching at your audience too much. And it's very common. Like I'm teaching to you right now. There's times and places to teach. What you really want to be doing is influencing people. You want to help get them out of the mistakes that they're making. You want to help them get out of the limiting beliefs that are keeping them stuck. And you want to help align them with the right actions and the right beliefs they need to be able to take action and actually hire you so that they can get long-term results. That's the main key. And so where people fall victim to is that they're just posting content. They're doing this like spray and pray advice, like workouts, and especially in the health and fitness space, like workouts and nutrition tips and mindset hacks and all of these amazing pieces of content. But they're not hitting people. They're not bringing people through the psychological and emotional journey they need to become buyers. You see, it used to work better back when there was like way less content, but now on social media, the latest statistic is that there's over 300 million posts being published across all platforms every day. So it's like you could either just blend in and add to the noise, or you can cut through that crap. You can cut through it, and that's what I'm showing you today. And so the other big mistake outside of just randomly posting content and hoping people like reach out to you, or only teaching at your audience, or what I see people do as well is they're trying to be omnipresent way too soon. Like if you're under $30,000 per month consistently, you should be focusing on one platform. Like if you're trying to be omnipresent like Alex Hormozi and Grant Cardone and Brendan Burchard at Lewis Howes, you got to understand that they're in a completely different phase of business. If you're under 30K per month, you should be 1,000%, from my experience, I've done it all, I've made the mistakes, focus on one platform. When you're focused on one platform and optimizing the content on that platform, dialing in the appointment setting and booking calls from that platform, and really maximizing and squeezing the juice out of it. Like we were able to do just in my online fitness business, we've done more now in this business, but in our online fitness business, we got to around 20 to 30K per month just off of my Facebook personal page. Like, you could squeeze a lot of juice out of it if you're focused. But when you're too omnipresent, or you're focused on trying to go viral and get likes and stuff like that, like, there's a lot of distraction and it's really hard to grow. And so if you're under 30K per month right now and you're trying to go viral and you're all over all these platforms, that's probably why. Now, you can repurpose content, but don't try to optimize like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn all at once. Focus on one, you can repurpose to the others. So with that said, the big insight that we're going to be doing right here and right now is we want, the concept here is to use intentional content sequences to get people to raise their hand and reach out to you. Now, you're probably going to have to reach out to some human beings. Like, you can't just like hope they come, but like, you're going to get people engaging with you, commenting with you, and even reaching out to you when you follow some of the call to actions I share. Well, what most people do is they focus their content on audience building. And what I've chosen to do, and what I'm going to recommend you do, is focus your content on driving sales. And in that process, an audience will be built at the same time. I built my entire online fitness business. In my business now, we've generated now over $1 million. And it's been focused on like an audience of less than 5,000 people. You don't need a lot of people if you know what you're doing to be able to build a very successful lifestyle business that provides you plenty of financial freedom and also the time to be able to do the things that you love. But our intention isn't to try to like become these massive influencers, right? Which in this day and age, it's really influencer is like an overworked, underpaid content creator. We're coaches first, right? We're influencers second. You see what I'm saying? Most struggling coaches try to be the influencer first and the business owner second. And so what I'm going to show you how to do is how to put this together to actually build a business that you love. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So now let's get to the tactical stuff. All right, so this is what the conversion content formula number one looks like. So you're going to have a starting point. Your starting point is going to be what we call a raise hands post. Some of you that have been in the content game for a while may have heard these called two-step posts. I'm going to show you why this is a bit different than a standard two-step post. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other steps here. And I'm going to show you how to maximize this. And then what we do is and I typically do this the week before. Again, I've laid out the entire content calendar for you right here. So you can choose to follow it or you can mix up the days. But you're going to want to do this post a day before, like the week before you launch this campaign. Then on Monday, you'll do the build hype post. Again, I'm going to walk through the templates in a second. Then on Tuesday, you could do a show proof post. Wednesday, do the strategic lives. Now, I want to pause here is I want to show you the most important things. You don't have to do all of this content. I'm going to show you the absolute non-negotiables. Whenever you're running a content campaign, you want to start with a conversion event. A conversion event can be something like a workshop or a challenge. In this case, we're doing it as a live video series. This can be 1 live video. This can be 5 live videos. For those of you that have been following my journey, you know that that's like the big claim to fame. That's what I became known for in the industry a few years ago, was live video. And we built our business initially off of doing a lot of these live series. I did 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts. What I find works really, really well though is this 2-part series. You could do 3, you could do 4, you could do as many as you want. But the 2-part works really well for keeping people's attention. And so in this case, this is going to be our conversion event. So this is the most important thing to do in this entire campaign. The second most important is you need to have people that are interested. And so it's this raise hands post, right? So if you did no other post, the raise hands and the strategic lives are the most important pillar pieces of this content. The build hype and show proof are just some additional things to help you just get a little bit more engagement going if you need it. And how this is going to work is anybody that raises their hand on the raise hands post, you're going to tag them in. You don't necessarily have to tag them in every post, but you're definitely going to tag them in the live videos. And anybody that raises their hand on these posts, you're going to also tag them here. And we'll go over some best practices, but what you don't want to do is tag them before the live or when you first hop on. You're going to want to wait until till after it's done. Again, we'll go into some best practices. And then what you're doing is you're essentially taking the people that are raising their hands, that are commenting, that are engaging, and you're putting them on a nurture list. You could find that nurture list right here. And you could put them all down here. And again, we have a little sequence that you can walk them through to make sales. So you're going to build that nurture list, and you're going to DM that nurture list, and you could follow some of the outreach scripts that we give to you. Then you're going to have MCs, which stands for meaningful conversations. That means 3 to 4 back and forth. Book them on a call, make a sale. It's a really simple thing. Now, let's go ahead and go into it. So as we just mentioned, on day 1, I don't care what day you do this, but just do it the week prior, is a raise hands post. Day 2 is a build hype post. I like to do this either a day or 2 days prior to the actual live training. Then you're going to do show proof post, and then you're going to do the strategic lives. Again, these 2 are the pillars. This is the conversion event. This is going to be the thing that's going to actually get people to raise their hand when done properly. It is the most important post. Then we have a bonus here. This, if you haven't made a direct offer to your audience ever or in a while, I would recommend that you do that. And I'm going to show you some examples, templates that you can model, because you'd be surprised. There are people in your audience right now that are just waiting for an invitation. And if you made a post or you reached out to somebody, privately and just said, hey, I'm launching this case study program, or hey, I'm looking for clients right now that want to get this result. You'd be surprised how many people would be like, yeah, I know somebody, or yeah, I want it. The problem is we don't often make enough offers to people, and therefore people just kind of suffer in silence. So with that said, let's go ahead and go in. So I already kind of went into this, but very specifically on camera, when you're on camera, again, when I'm working with clients like in the in-demand coach, I'm able to help tailor a lot of the stuff to them based on where they're at. Whether you're nervous on camera or you've been on camera hundreds of times, one of the main things that you got to understand is there are some principles to speaking, and there are some copywriting things and some tonality things that you could get better. If this is you're early on in your camera days, just show up and be passionate. Just don't be super boring and low energy. Just actually act like you want to help people, right? Don't wait for people to hop on. Massive mistake. That's so rude. People are busy. So just make sure that you go right in when you do the trainings, okay? And you want to make sure you're not just teaching at your audience. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to show you the script for the live in just a moment, but if you just teach at your audience, it's boring. You want to help make sure you're telling stories and that you're helping bring them through not just a logical journey, but an emotional journey, and you're hitting some of the psychological triggers that you must to get them to become buyers. Okay. Some success principles. Make sure to speak to the pain and desire like we talked about. That's going to be number 1, and we're going to, that we already came up with. You're going to want to shift their perspective. So the big thing is, again, taking them out of the mistakes that they're making or the limiting beliefs they have, and giving them clarity and aligning their beliefs to what you know to be true for them to be able to succeed. This is going to get more people to buy than you teaching at them. You want to personalize the message. So when you DM somebody, you don't want to just have a script. You want to actually personalize the message if you want to make some good sales. And then you want to have a strong call to action. And we're going to go through some examples of this. So really key principles to understand to be able to make this work. So you can rewatch this training multiple times to really grasp this. But yeah. And some success reminders. This is just key social media stuff that you should know. Take in perfect action. Don't wait to be perfect on this. Just do it. There's nothing bad that can happen. There's only a positive. You can just actually get leads and calls booked and clients. Don't reinvent the wheel. You model what I show you, obviously, it's your own business, but the principles that I'm sharing with you work. In fact, I initially learned this launch sequence in a different way from one of the OGs in the launching space. His name is Jeff Walker. And I took the principles that I've learned launching a lot of things over the last decade in my gym, my online fitness business. And this is how we kind of created these series, is based off of that. So don't reinvent the wheel. The principles are timeless and they work. Like, comment, and tag. Don't just if people are liking your stuff, they're commenting on your on your posts, make sure you're responding back and make sure you're tagging people. Otherwise, you can't rely on the algorithm. You got to make it happen. And then message people quickly, whether they're the viewers on your live videos or they're commenting on your stuff. Don't just like sit there and like wait 48 to 72 hours. You got to be on your game if you want to have clients coming in over the next 21 days, right? So, all right. So let's go ahead and start here. We're going to spend a little bit more time on the raise hands post. And for the sake of time, because I'm giving you the templates, I'm going to kind of go through the rest relatively quickly. The raise hands post is the most important one because that's the one that's going to get you the people. So some key points. I'm going to give you the templates right here. And then I have some examples that you could see. And I'm going to show some different mediums that you can use. But understand, like, these are questions you should be asking yourself while you're kind of creating your raise hands post. Is, will it stop the scroll? Like, take yourself out of your own self, if you will, disassociate. And I want you to think about like what your avatar would think, right? Because a lot of times as coaches, we are farther ahead than our clients, obviously. That's why we're coaching them. And so like we're thinking way differently than they're thinking. So we want to put ourselves back in their shoes and think through their eyes. Like, what would they think? What would stop their scroll? Is it hitting their specific language that they use? Is it hitting the specific pain or desires they want? Not you want for them, but they want. Is it simple and clear? Does it have a unique angle or is it generic? Right? Are you like, I have a new weight loss guide for you? That might not work super well. Versus like if you have a unique angle on it. Like, hey, who wants to see my exact meal plan guide that helped me lose 33 pounds in 90 days? It's a unique angle, right? Is the call to action clear and easy to follow? You see what I'm saying? And again, I have tons of examples here from different clients. Here's the one that she got over 800 leads from it. It's crazy. Actually, it was 928. So I have a bunch of examples for myself and clients that you can look through as well. So here's some templates. These are timeless. These templates work extremely well. In fact, we've given these templates to hundreds of people. So you may have seen these in the industry before, but they do work really, really well. So you would put your avatar. If I offer to, a free training on how to get this result, would you be interested in joining me? Right? So here's some examples, like women. If that's who your avatar is. Like ladies, women, if I did a free training on how to reduce your belly fat, the stubborn stuff, would you be interested? Dads, right? So you could say avatar, desired result, pretty simple, right? So you can use these to model. I put some different examples, emotional eating, mindset stuff. But the key is the messaging matters. Now, what I want to show you is how to reply to people and what to do if it doesn't work for you, so you can fix it. So these are some, how do you reply to comments, right? These are just some scripts. Just use one of these. If you're on Facebook, I like to mix these up because Facebook will block you if you're just copying and pasting and saying the same message. Instagram too. So just make sure you're varying the replies up. Here's the message template. So you can use and send. Whether you're doing this in a profile or group, you just like change it out. Here's an example of one that I used before. And then here's another one that I used before. And I want to zoom in a little bit so you can see. When somebody comments, let me zoom in one more. You're going to like it. Then you're going to comment, right? And then you're going to send them a message that I just shared with you. Like, that's how you do it. You want to make sure you comment on everybody's. Really, really important. Okay. All right. Now, here's a big FAQ on this. What happens if my raise hands post doesn't get much quick engagement? If you don't get an engagement, meaning 0 people are commenting in the first 60 minutes of your post being live on your feed, like it being on there, 2 things. You can either tag some friends or followers who either A, showed some interest in a similar subject or piece of content, or B, that you think would be interested in it. Then, if it still doesn't get engagement, you could take the post down and repost with different messaging. Again, if it doesn't work, it's likely either A, the messaging is just not on point, like your avatar doesn't want it, and that's okay, just come up with different stuff. Or B, you might not have built trust with your audience yet, and you've got to do that. So when one of those posts do not get engagement, it's either a messaging problem or you simply have a colder audience, in simple terms. They just might not trust you yet, that's why they don't respond. So spend more time on that post. Now, I'm going to go through these posts relatively quickly. This is what I call a build hype post. Here's an example of how I've actually used this in real time. So the only purpose of this post, it's designed to just kind of like get people excited, build some anticipation, and this is just some copy that you could swipe if you want. I even put a Canva template in here if you want to swipe my template. However, if you're doing this on your personal page, honestly, I would just if you already know certain kind of creative or certain images work for you, just do what you already know works. But I would likely just do an image like of you or something like that, right? A decent quality image. Typically in a group, like these kind of posts I've noticed work well. But if you're on your personal page, you could try this one. But usually just like a good quality photo of you works well. Here's a template you can swipe. Again, you just swipe out the words and put your own in. Change up the copy as you see fit to just make it sound more like you. Again, I'm not going to read through all of this because you have access to this. All right. And then the next day is a show proof. This is a short form template. And then I have a long form template. If you want more engagement, the short form templates typically work better. If you want to have an opportunity to put a CTA in, then the long form typically work better. They're just usually not going to get as much engagement. Or you can marry the both worlds. Like you could do the short form template, and in the comment section, you could put a call to action if somebody wants to come see your training series or whatever you're giving away as your magnet. Okay, these are just some different examples that I've personally have used, and some have been from clients. So you could feel free to swipe some of these examples. Pretty cut and clear, right? It's helped me congratulate my client. They typically get really good engagement. Okay, here's one that I recently used for one of our clients in our in-demand coach. You could see lots of thumbs up and hearts and comments and stuff like that. People just love to celebrate. And then here's a long form template you can feel free to swipe. Just has a good headline, a little short story, the problem they had. The bat belt is something that I learned from one of my mentors, and I love Batman. I love superheroes. Bat belt is like cool things they did. Like Batman's always pulling out like grappling hook, like all these crazy things. Like, so you want to like just talk about some cool stuff they did to get the result they got, call to action. And the call to action in this case should just lead them to your conversion event. Does that make sense? To your magnet. And then here's a swipe, a template that you can just swipe if you want to test it out. And then here's a message template. It's going to be the same as the one before, just to send to people that haven't yet engaged. And then you have your strategic lives. Okay. Let me zoom out. So the strategic lives, how we're going to do this is the first live, you're going to be talking about the biggest mistake or the biggest lie or the biggest misconception. Okay. So whatever like you came up with for your pain or desire that you're like running this thing around. So if you're going to be talking about meal plan, like what's the biggest misconception or lie that people have when it comes to like losing weight while eating? You know what I'm saying? So whatever that biggest mistake or biggest lie or misconception is, that's what you're going to talk about in this training. So here is a description that you can use above the live. Otherwise, below it here, you're going to talk about like the dangerous lie, the big mistake, things like that, right? So that's a sample description that you could swipe. And then how you do the video, again, I'm not going to have time to go into this fully, but you have the script or at least the outline. You always want to hook people in, right? So the start of your video, you should be building that anticipation, letting them know what's in it for me, and get them to start commenting immediately. The way I typically do this, I would just be essentially repeating what this live training is about. Hey, what's up, my friend? Today we're going to be going into the biggest mistake that most women make when they're trying to lose that nasty belly fat, that stubborn belly fat. And so, and now they know what's in it for them. There's some anticipation. I may even like tease my lead magnet. And then I'll say, if you're here with me live, say live. If you're here with me on the replay, drop a replay, right? Then I go into MAS, which stands for metaphor, analogy, and story, right? I'll tell a short story to drive the point home and make the topic more relatable. This could just be a simple client story. It could be a story of yours. It could be like, look, I remember back in 2011 when I was first trying to lose weight and I started to, cut my calories. I was like, I ate no carbs. I was eating tuna out of a, like, so you could tell like a short story like that leads them to your content. It could be a metaphor. Again, it could be a client story. You can get creative there. But the story is what helps to like make it relatable, and it ties it in. And then you want to have like a call to action. Typically, I like to tell them to comment a CTA word and using downward tonality. So this could be like, hey, if this makes sense, drop a yep in the comment section. Or hey, if you made the mistake, like we all do, of believing this lie or making this mistake, drop screw diets, right? So you can get creative, but you want to get them to drop a keyword in the chat. It's going to get comments rolling in. And then in this case, you would teach the insight. So the insight would be like teaching them, tell them the big lie, mistake, or misconception that they're going through. So it could be like, look, so the big mistake is that most people think they just need to eat healthy to lose weight. And that's one of the biggest lies in the world, because it's not just about eating healthy, it's about eating right, which we're going to be covering tomorrow. And then you tell them a short story. This could be, again, of you, a client. You can use a metaphor, whatever makes sense for you here. And then a call to action. I typically like to do another CTA word. And when you're doing call to action, use a downward tonality like I'm using right now. Just be more authoritative and direct, and way more people will take action on it. And then you want to recap and close and say, like, look out for my message shortly, come back tomorrow, right? So you're just kind of recapping what you just talked about, and then you're going to close the video off and you're going to open loop. Say tomorrow we're going to be going into the most effective way to be able to get desired result in the fastest way possible, in the most sustainable way possible, right? So if you got value in today's training, drop a value in the comment section below, and I'll see you back tomorrow, right? So that's number one. And then here's a message template, again, outreach template that you can use to reach out and just connect with them. Okay, so day number 2 is going to be the opposite. So now we're going to be talking about the most effective way, right, that they can get results. So here's a little, description that you can put in, and then the live's going to go the exact same way. So I'm not going to repeat this. The only difference is you want to recap what you talked about yesterday. Take like 20 to 30 seconds to recap it, just so you can catch people up to speed that may have missed it. Same kind of concept here. This time you're gonna, again, just make sure you recap the mistake and then drop your big insight. So in the example that I was just using, if you're gonna say like, hey, if the big mistake was people are under eating calories, right? They're just focused on eating healthy. I may say like, hey, so what you gotta do is eat right. And then I'm gonna unpack that. So here's what eating right means. You've got to dial in your calories for fat loss. You've got to get your proportions, balanced, and you've got to get foods that are sustainable for the long term. And then I might teach on that for a minute. I might show some examples of like my meal plan or grocery list or whatever your kind of like magnet is. That's what you would do here. Then you can either get them to comment for your magnet. So if you have like a lead magnet that you want to get, or you could just have them comment like a keyword. Then I like to set expectations here. This is something that I learned from a mentor a while ago. And like, let them know that you're going to reach out to them. Say, hey, if you're here, I'll reach out to you and I'll help be able to provide you with some resources or things that help you along your journey. And it's going to get more people compliant to respond. So recap, tell them to look out for your message, and drop another value. Okay. And then here's another message template. Now, the last thing on here is the final post, debrief, and some next steps for you to take. So as a reminder, make sure that you're liking all of the people that are commenting. You're commenting back, and they're tagging people that raise their hand in your raise hands post. And any of the, like if you had a CTA in your build hype or your show proof, you're just tagging those people in the videos after they're done, so that you're not relying on the algorithm to show it to them, but you're actually getting them to see it. And then message them quickly. Like, don't wait. If you want clients, you got to like actually be in the game, and you got to message them and start to connect with them and start to move them through your sales process. So the last thing on here, this is a bonus. You don't have to do this, but we find it works pretty well, is your hero offer post template. Like, who is this for? One sentence clear promise. I'll help you achieve X in the next X days or weeks. Insert a couple benefits without doing something they hate. Call to action. And so I didn't make up this post. This post has been in the industry for a while. This is very principle driven. These are some ways that I've used it that have worked really well. these are some ways some clients have used it that's worked really well, right? Ladies who are looking to lose X amount of weight and tone up. If I offered to help you, benefit, would you take me up on that offer? I personally got these results. Since then, I've helped X amount of people do that. Are you next? #Deets. This will work if you have some good rapport with your audience already. If not, I would probably recommend you doing like a case study. But again, outside of the scope of this training, if you want to know more about the case study, just comment below and I'm happy to share with you. So this is a post that you could do and it just works really well for people in your audience that are kind of on the fence. All right. So last up, I recommend doing a debrief. So debrief, you just kind of put your results in here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like take your own inventory, see what you learned. The only way to get better is to actually learn. So any additional insights. So to recap here, you want to make sure that you're prepared, right? And so make sure you have a profitable niche. Make sure that your messaging is on point. Otherwise, none of this stuff will work for you, at least not consistently. I gave you the tool that you can use. Go ahead and write your content campaign and then schedule it when you're going to post it. Follow the content schedule or make up your own. It doesn't matter. Compile some leads, reach out to leads, book calls, and sell. And again, very important, your messaging is the 5% that will produce 95% of your results. So if you do want to have success with this, this is one of the biggest things that I help people when they come in the in-demand coach is their messaging, their positioning, and then really building out a content strategy and the right systems and processes so that they're able to scale to consistent 20 to 50K per month without having to work 24/7. That's the purpose of having systems in place. Okay. And so if you want me to be able to personally audit your conversion content, if you want me to look at your campaigns, look at it when it's done, then DM me, to help you get more DM conversations, generate more inbound leads. Like what I want you to do is you can click this link right here. It's going to take you to a page. And on this page, you can literally book a 10 to 15 minute audit call with me. This is not a sales call. Like I am not going to try to sell you anything on this call. It's just simply to be able to help you. And I'm only doing this for, you that are watching this. I'm not actually opening this up to the public now. This is just for you that are watching this. So you can get some feedback on your content campaign that I'm giving for you. A couple other little helpful resources that I have for you down here is the conversion content ebook and then the content calendar in case you didn't get your copy already. It's linked down here for you below. All right. So with that being said, I hope you found this training immensely valuable. To be completely transparent with you, I was going to actually break this up into a mini course and I was going to sell this for $497, but I decided to just give this away completely for free. So hopefully you find this really, really valuable and it's really, really helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you are somebody that's looking to, if you're right now over $5,000 per month in your business and you're looking to be able to learn how to put the right systems in place, to be able to have the conversion content systems, to be able to have the right sales systems and the right systems to be able to scale to a consistent 20 to 50K per month business. I have done this for myself for the last 6 years, and I've now helped over 100 clients do this as well. I'd be honored to be able to see if or how I can help you be able to do the same. Very important. We're not in like the whole, what they call the bro scalers. So like we're looking for people that actually want to build a lifestyle business that are in this to, they want to make good money. They want to have the financial freedom, but they're really in it to help serve others. They want to make an impact in other people's lives. And so if you actually get client results and you care more about client results than money, money's just a cool byproduct. And then I would invite you to reach out to me. And I'd love to have a conversation with you to see if or how I can help you be able to build that consistent lifestyle business. As always, my friend, remember your message matters now more than it ever has before. Don't be afraid. Speak it, be seen, be heard, and be impactful.